Hey everyone, this is me, the Viking. This is Flamecraft. Flamecraft is a game for 2 to 5 players, plays in about an hour. It's the newest release from Cardboard Alchemy. It is currently on Kickstarter. If you're watching this video, you can click on the little links down below and you can go ahead and check out the Kickstarter page. You continue listening to this if you want to hear my thoughts on this one. So this is a... How would I describe this? They like to say it's dragon placement. I mean, it is worker placement in the idea that you have one worker, one action pawn, if you will, and you will be placing it into these different buildings, and then you'll be activating those different buildings for different powers. And then as the game progresses, you and the other players will be building up these buildings and making them more powerful. And you don't really claim them either. I mean, you'll go to a spot, you'll add dragon workers to it, you'll enchant it, and you'll make it bigger and better. But you're just making it bigger and better for yourself and for the other players. So it's kind of a neat thing where usually you're used to playing games with like having a tableau, and you build up your own tableau, you build up your own little garden, if you will. And then you only you get the benefits from that. But in this one, everybody gets the benefits. If you go and you make like the crystal, the crystal shop or whatever, produce more crystals, or perhaps spit out some iron, or make potions there, everybody's going to go there and going to get there, and they're going to get all those things. And you're thinking, well, why would I want to do that? Well, the point is that this game is not a, well, I mean, it is a victory point game, technically, but the idea behind the game is that you're building up your reputation within the town. And so if you do the best job of building up the town and making it this cool little place to live, you'll be recognized at the end of the game as being the winner of the game, technically. But all of you get to then enjoy the town. And if you haven't noticed, the artwork is absolutely amazing. I'll talk about it a little bit. And the theme fits this game absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to show you how to play the game. It doesn't take a lot to learn how to play a game. Maybe the flow of the game and some of the different things that you can do will take a little bit of grokking to do, but this is not by any means a heavy game to learn. It has some depth, though. It has a surprising amount of depth. But let's go ahead and show you how to play Flamecraft. Alright, here we go. This is Flamecraft. Now, I'm going to teach you how to play the game really, really quickly. I'm not going to dive too far into this. There really isn't that much to learn, honestly. Once the game is set up, you're going to have your 6 starting shops. You can see there are more locations to place shops, and that's what the players are going to be doing. As the game progresses, you're going to be building up the shops that are here. You are going to be building new shops within the town, then upgrading those shops, and everybody's going to kind of work together to make the town better. And as you do things to make the town better, you're going to gain reputation points, which, you know, are basically the victory points. And here's the victory track here in the middle of the board. And whoever does the best job at the end of the game, is determined when the deck of cards has run out of cards. That signifies the end of the game, one more turn, of course, so everybody can have one last big gasp for points, and then you figure out who won the game. This game is about moving your dragon pawn to these different shops, activating the powers within by either gathering resources or putting enchantments on the shop. I'll talk about both those things here in a little bit, and then just trying to use your abilities and the powers of the different dragons that you have, because you start off with 4 artisan dragon cards, and then there's these other artisan dragons sitting here in this park that you can recruit later, and obviously there's a big giant deck of dragons that you're going to go through as the game progresses. Or there are these, and they're called fancy dragons. There's fancy dragons, and you're going to get dealt 2 of these at the end of the game, and you're going to be able to pick one and then discard the other, put it at the bottom of the deck. And as you collect these are one-time use dragons that basically will give you a bunch of victory points, or they're an ability to score endgame victory points. Once the game is over, you can score some victory points depending upon your endgame dragons that you have, or your fancy endgame dragons that you have. So The game is about collecting resources and then just using those resources to mostly do these big giant enchantments, because there's a lot of points that you're going to get out of these. All right, so let's just talk about how the game works. The most basic thing is, on your turn, you're going to pick up your dragon and you're going to place it into one of these shops. When you place it into a shop, you are then going to be able to, as I said, take one of those actions, either to gather or to enchant. You cannot block somebody if somebody else is in a shop that you want to go to. When you go there, you'll have to give the owner of that pawn a resource, kind of a gift, you know, that to be able to use that spot. It doesn't matter how many dragons are in that location. If you end up, you know, stepping into that spot, and there's like these 3 sitting there, you have to give each one of those players a gift. You can say, hey, here's a bread, here's a potion, and here's a leaf. Now, thank you. Now, can I please use this store? Because I really want to use Draco Bell. And yes, there's all kinds of little jokes like that. There's Draco Bell, there's Duncan Dragons, there's the Glassy Knoll, you know, all kinds of funny little tongue-in-cheek references to things that you'll figure out. And it's just part of the game. This is a very whimsically themed game. I'm glad they went with a whimsical theme. You definitely could have gone, you know, dark and grim with it, but the designers and the publisher did not, so that's kind of cool. All right, so how does it work exactly? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to a spot. You're going to say, I'm either gathering or I'm doing an enchantment. So let's just do the gather first. When you do a gather, then you get to collect every resource that particular spot is going to create for you. At the very beginning of the game, they're only going to give you 1 resource, because the creation is up here in the top left. But as they get dragons placed into the location, those dragons are working there, and they're going to give you resources for being there. And as you put enchantments onto a place, they're going to get, those enchantments are going to give you more and more stuff when you go there as well. So in this case, there's only 1. I go to Draco Bell, I'm only going to get 1 meat for going there. But then, because I did a gather, I'm allowed to place one of my artisan dragons that I have in my hand. And so what I'll do is maybe I'll take Skewert here, who is a meat dragon. And on this bottom, there's 3 spots that allow me to place a dragon into those spots. And then they actually say, here's one that like has a little meat on it. Here's one that has a meat on it. Here's one that has an anvil, and here's one with an anvil. So what I can do is I can take Skewert and I can put it in one of those 2 spots that has a meat. In this spot, if I place it, I'm going to get 2 reputation for placing that dragon there. In this spot, if I place it, it has the same thing as this fancy dragons, means I get to draw 2 fancy dragons and pick one, and I get to add it to my secret stash of fancy dragons. But this last one, it's got an anvil, can't place it there. So I want the points. So I'm going to go ahead and put Skewert in that location, and I'm going to take my 2 victory points, put myself on the track like so, and now I can activate a dragon that is in that spot. Each dragon has an activation power, has this little flame on it. You can probably maybe see it closer in these, but each one has this little flame on it. Depending upon the type of dragon, each one has the same power. All meat dragons have the same power. All crystal dragons have the same power, and so on and so forth. The meat dragons says I get to place another dragon and then gain either 1 coin or 1 reputation. Coins are not one of these resources. The resources are bread, crystals, iron, potions, meat, and leaves. Coins are a wild resource. They can be anything, and if you hold on to them till the end of the game, they're worth 1 victory point each. But what I can do is I have Roxanne here, my iron dragon, and I can go ahead and place this in one of those 2 spots. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place it in this location here, and I'm going to take that coin. I like having a wild, I'm going to take a coin. It'll be, it's a wild thing. And honestly, I like those better just because, well, I like coins. And these coins are pretty cool. I don't know if they're the ones that are going to come with the game, but these coins I got with the prototype are pretty cool. They have a dragon on one side and a bunch of cool runes on the other. But anyway, so there you go. That would be my entire turn as far as going there, placing a dragon, and then activating that dragon. Now, if somebody else went there, they could go, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to give you a leaf because I want to be in that spot. And now, because there's these 3 dragons in this spot, there's a meat, and an iron. What they're going to do is they're going to go, okay, I'm going to get 2 meat so I can take these out of there, and they're gonna get 3 resources for going there. And then they take those 3 resources, and now maybe they place a dragon. And actually, let's place a dragon just so I can kind of show this. I'm just gonna take the propane dragon here, and we're gonna place it in that spot because that shows that this is filled up. And then they're going to activate one of these dragons. And so the propane dragons, this is gain +2 items of the shop or dragon type here. So they can get another 2. So you can see they're really just doubling down on those resources. But the interesting thing is because these three dragons are now filled up Draco Bell. At the end of the turn, they have to draw a new shop. So there's new things. So here's a shop where it's the Dragon Horde Bank. And then I'm going to place this like right here. But I want to point out here is that this particular spot, this has a special ability where it says convert any one item type 2 into, 2 to 1 into coins. And that shops will have special abilities sometimes that you'll be able to use on gather turns as well. And it should be mentioned that when you activate these things, you can kind of do them in whatever order you so desire. And these things are optional as well. So just keep that in mind so you can kind of, tie these things together and also time them together as well. All right, so that's how we would go about doing gathering and filling out a shop and getting a new shop. So how do you enchant? So you can see there's tons of enchantments over here, and some enchantments will just say like, here's spellcast iron, and it says you need 2 potions and you need 3 bread to do that enchantment. And then if you place that enchantment on a store, you're going to get 4 reputation, 4 victory points for doing so. However, there's some that are like this, where it says ironwood poppies, and it says iron and crystals. And then it says there's 2, 4, or 8. And what that means is for these, you have to just pair these up. So if you had 1 iron and 1 crystal, you could use this and you get 2 victory points. And if you had 2 iron and 2 crystal that you turned in, you get 4, and then as you can see, 3 and 3. Eventually, you're climbing the ladder and you're getting all the way up to 8 victory points. But regardless, if you're going to do an enchantment, what you're going to do is you're going to go to that location. You're going to say the enchant, and then you get to add the enchantment to the card. So let's just say we added the Ring of Destiny to that thing. We paid a bread, we paid 3 meat and 2 iron, and then we're going to add this and kind of go underneath it like this. And now, as you can see, if somebody goes and activates this location, now it's also going to give you a crystal each time you go there. And the Ring of Destiny gives the yellow player 6 victory points for doing so. So we'll just take this. We'll put that up to 6, like so. And then the super cool thing about the Ring of Destiny is that, or I should say just the Ring of Destiny, any enchantment, when you put an enchantment on a store, you immediately get to activate all of the dragons and do all of their powers that are in that spot. And you can do those in any order as well. And so you can see enchantments, you build up to these and place them onto these spots. So you can not only get a bunch of victory points for doing it, but you can really cash in on the different powers of the dragons and the different abilities. And that's it. I mean, there really isn't much more to the game. I mean, you really honestly have to play it. I think you can play this on Tabletop Simulator or Board Game Arena or something. I think that's available for you to check it out. But that's the entire game. It's placing a dragon, building up that shop, adding new shops, doubling down on certain places that other people have already built up, and knowing full well that the places you built up, they're going to double down on and use as well to get bigger and better and bigger and better. And just, having efficiency, because as the game progresses, dragons are going to be taken out of these spots, enchantments are going to be taken out of these locations and replaced. And as those things happen, and like everything's a little joke here, displacer beef, ha ha ha, displacer beef. So what do you want to get sued? You can't say that word. Anyway, but you get it, right? I mean, this game is beautiful to look at. I haven't even said anything about the art. I'll talk about the art a little bit in my final thoughts here, but the whimsical theme, the extremely straightforward rules, the fun engine building, the communal engine building of the town, and the fact that like you kind of just get to see something built as the game progresses is really enjoyable and a lot of fun. Certainly, you figure out at the very end of the game who got the most reputation and who's like the best dragon keeper in the land or what have you. But honestly, when I played this with my family, we just had a blast. Regardless, just putting all the little combinations together and just trying to improve with each and every turn. But let me talk about that and a whole lot more in my final thoughts. All right, so there you go. Flamecraft. So just cards on the table really quickly. Flamecraft is being published by Cardboard Alchemy. Cardboard Alchemy is the publishing company fronted by Peter Vaughn. Peter Vaughn is my friend. I've been friends with Peter for a long time. He is a regular contributor to the Wednesday night Alaboom show. So if you think that my friendship with Peter subjectively makes me want to say really nice things about his game, regardless to what it is, take that into whatever you want to think of. But I wouldn't. I would tell Peter flat out if I thought his game sucked. But Peter doesn't make bad games. He just doesn't. So anyway, this is Flamecraft. Flamecraft is awesome. Flamecraft has probably some of the most cute art I've seen in a long time. I busted this out and showed it to my daughter and my son, and both of them immediately went, "Aww." So, and yes, Sundara Tang did the art. I don't know of anything else that they've done, and I probably should have researched that prior to this. But the artwork is absolutely fabulous. I can't say enough of it. Each little, for example, each little piece of art that is in the game, and all the buildings having these cute little names and little play on words or whatever. So for example, there's all these little hidden surprises, if you will. I remember the first time I ever played the Century Golems edition, and the golems had cool little Easter eggs or whatever. And perfect example, so I'm gonna cover it up at first, but here's the Hello Nursery, and you probably can't see it, but if you can see it has the flowers from the Mario guys, the ones that try to eat you and spit fireballs at you. That's just a plant that's in the nursery. And there's all kinds of stuff in all of this stuff. And it's just one of those things, as you're going to be looking at the cards, you'll be you'll see something you hadn't noticed before, and that's super cool. And it shows a lot of attention to detail and attention to just trying to make this world just fun to look at and fun to be a part of. I had a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out where I think this game was pinpointed on, and I remember Peter actually told me, he said it's a little bit lighter. He said it's a little bit lighter than what I normally create, and I was like, all right, fair enough. And but when I played this, and when my son started playing it, and I started watching him kind of clue into certain things, realizing, oh wait, no, I can put this leaf dragon, and I'll say this, if you're a parent, and I'm not saying this to say this is only a game for families. No. If you're looking for a game that a Euro game, resource management, engine building, communal engine building, with a fun little theme, it's going to fit in your gaming group as well. But for me, probably what I enjoyed the most was watching my son, who in the last 6 to 9 months, we've been playing a lot of board games and playing more and more, and he's really kind of turned the corner. He's really, my daughter did it earlier for me. It was when she was 7 or 8, she turned the corner on and kind of left the kid games behind and started moving into bigger things. And for my daughter, it was when she got into deck building games, and it just kind of clicked. And for my son, it's been worker placement games. It's been worker placement and collecting resources, and I don't know what it is about that. Him just figuring out the math of going here and getting this and turning this into that so I can get this. He really started getting that placement. And so when we played this, it was really fun when he would get to his turn and he would sit there and he'd stare at his cards and he'd stare at those dragons and he'd be like, all right, if I go here and I gather, I'll get those 2 crystals, and then I can place a dragon onto that spot, and it's going to get me a coin, and then I'm going to be able to turn those into this, and then boom, 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 he did it. And like you'd see that like quiet, like, well, no, he's not quiet. I would see his very, very gleeful satisfaction over figuring out exactly how he had. So then he had enough resources to then on his next turn move to another spot and cash in on a big enchantment, and be able to really like push himself forward towards a victory. And you know, and that was a joy for me. And I was just, and he's 9, gonna be 10 here in October, and I just was thinking, you know, this doesn't have to be just for families, as I said, but this definitely is one of those things where it's like that hits that perfect tweener spot, right? Where if you are playing a game as an adult, and you're playing, and we've all had to play games that like you were just kind of rubbing your eyes the entire time as you played it, and you're enjoying it because you're playing with your kids and you're having a good time, but you're also like, anything else? Could we please just play something else? Can we just play anything that doesn't involve just spinning, using a spinner? Can we do that? So when you get to that point where you have that tween game that like is enough friction, enough mental gymnastics for you to enjoy yourself while you play, and then also not so much that your kids are going to get frustrated you play it, then this is something I think that every like family gamer, like I have my gaming group and I have my family group, and this will actually hit for both of them. For my gaming group, this is a coast game for me. It's like you don't have to think 4 turns ahead. You can sit there and have conversations about TV shows that you've been watching, or movies you want to go see, or BSing about sports or whatever it is that you enjoy. And you don't have to be super concerned about what's going on the game. Like putting your stuff together, playing your cards, doing your thing, but also just kind of enjoying everybody's company at the same time. Instead of having one person like buried in their cards and like just, you know, fretting over the next turn, making sure they get the most points. That's a game that, like, for my gaming group, we really, really enjoy. And it's a game that I enjoy even more, as I said, with my family, because I'm watching my daughter and my son explore the game. It's a game that my wife will enjoy playing because there aren't, as she says, 1 million rules for her to remember, and everybody can just kind of relax and have fun, and nobody's getting their feelings hurt or anything. Nobody's stealing a big moment from anybody. Nobody's like rolling some dice and smashing somebody else's stuff. So highly enjoyable in that respect. I mean, for the art alone, I want posters of these dragons, honestly. And the second thing is that I mean, just because of the fact that it's going to fit across the board, both family-wise and for gaming groups, I highly, highly, highly recommend Flamecraft. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. If you have any questions about it, by all means, ask away. Happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Until next time, I'm the Undead Viking. You take care of yourself.